From the earliest days, I think Taiko in the United States has been pretty much dominated by women. It was also a time when we had a lot of Asian activism. And so the members would talk about how Taiko helped to break stereotypes, and they were not just quiet Asian women doing flower arrangements and stuff, or doing calligraphy. We're breaking the stereotype of an Asian woman by being kind of noisy.
Women were always very involved in the beginning. I think they've always had a definite direction, you know, and influence in Taiko all over.
Soh Daiko was very special. It was a place where, you know, not only was it you know, sort of non-gender specific, but it was also a place where, you know, where ethnic identity was something you could explore and celebrate.
Let's see, from 1979 to 2013, and I got involved because I was an oboe drummer. So I was supposed to be an adult advisor for the church youth group, but then the kids quit. So anyway, it became an adult group.
I joined Soh Daiko in 1982. And I joined because I went to a Kodo concert. When Kodo performed at Avery Fisher Hall, I was sort of dumbstruck, and I ran into Aichi Kochiyama at the concert, and she said, well, you know, Soh Daiko is recruiting. I said, okay, I'm there.
I started in 1980, I think the same time Sandy joined, and I went till about 2012. You know, I was really more involved in my dance company, for most of the time. So somebody invited me, I don't know whether it was Merle or someone in the group, invited me to come by. Because I thought I could use Taiko and add it to my dance stuff and my choreography. But then I got hooked more into Taiko and let the dance company go. Always from a little kid, because I have 4 brothers, I was always trying to be like my brothers. You know, I didn't know what it was like to be a female, really. So I just, you know, I wanted to do everything they wanted to do. And then when I finally started playing Taiko, I mean, I was really into the whole dance was my passion, really. So, but then when I started playing Taiko, I think the whole form and the movement, it was so total, was so encompassing. And I liked the fact that it was a group playing together, and there was a group responsibility. It was shared, so it wasn't like I had to do everything. So it was nice to be able to have a group of people who actually share the responsibility in making decisions.
Had I showed up at Soh Daiko recruitment that day, and you know, had it been all men, would I have continued? And I don't think anything would have stopped me from trying to learn. However, would I have stayed? I don't know. I was struck again recently by how meaningful it was, and I didn't even realize it, I think, at the time, to have Merlin as chairman of the group in the leadership position, and to have, you know, Teddy as you know, this artistic, bright, shining light. It was never a question that you know, women should be doing this. It was never a question.
I mean, I always assumed women can do everything. I mean, I always felt I could do everything, even when I did it. I'm going to do the Soh Daiko solo. You are? Yeah.
Actually, Soh Daiko gave me a lot of experience in terms of working with groups. So even when I was working at the museum, when I was manager of a department, I really made sure that everybody had a say, that nobody was left out. So that certainly came from Soh Daiko.
When I first came to Soh Daiko in practice, I was really nervous. And I remember walking in, and then, you know, we started with the bow in, and then we started warming up. And Alan or Sandy maybe said, you know, we're going to do 2 minutes of push-ups, and we're going to do, you know, a minute of sit-ups or something like that. And I looked to my right and I saw Alan. I looked to my left and I saw Sandy, and I was like, how am I going to get through this? And the awesome thing was that Chuni was directly across from me. And she looked at me and she said, you got this. And so we just did the push-ups, did the sit-ups, and we were, you know, you weren't treated any differently because you were a woman. I think in high school and junior high, a lot of times people would say, okay, we're going to do push-ups, but you know, if you can't do the push-up, it's okay because you can just put your knees down and do the girl style. And Soh Daiko was the first time that I came in, and it was, you were expected, everyone was expected to do the same thing, and you weren't asked to do any less or any more because of your gender or how you identify yourself.
I think also in the dojo, it's like the great equalizer. It's not really, are you male or female? It's like tall person, small, short person. That really tells you like, oh, well, I can't reach the top shelf, but are you expected to carry the drums? Yes, like no one's exempt from any of the activities. Everybody has to pull their weight.
I think what great about the Soh Daiko is there's no stereotype, and then very often like we get the performance request. Soh Daiko just pick the performers based on their abilities, not the genders or because maybe they want this type of person. But Soh Daiko just availability, and then who can execute the performance, and then was born and grow up in Japan. Everything, oh, men can do this, and then women can do this, but women cannot do this. So many things that can and cannot do, but I never felt that in the Soh Daiko.
So it's very different from the Japanese experience, where there's a tradition of very male dominated, but in the United States, it's very different.
Soh Daiko went to Japan in, all right, 80 what? 87. Thank you. Yeah, that's when you were there already, Teddy.
Mm-hmm.
And we visited Kodo on Sado Island, and it was an experience of a lifetime. It was great, and they were just absolutely fantastic, in welcoming us, and we played for each other and on all of this. I do remember, though, at the time, I don't think there were any women in the performing group of Kodo.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember at the time saying, okay, I don't think I said it out loud, but it was in here. I say, okay, ladies, we're gonna play like the guys, or we're gonna play with the guys. The evolution, happens. It's been happening. Obviously now there are women in the performing group. There are a lot of women in Japanese performing groups now, but it was not the case then.
That just brings me back to I started my education in a full-on Japanese school, and what I knew was the boys always went first. So, and the boys were given the voice, and the girls kind of just sat in their chair and doing their homework and doing the quiet things. It was kind of refreshing with Taiko, where you could be just as loud as the boys in the room. You could be just as flamboyant as the boys in the room. Playing Taiko in that type of environment made me feel more confident in expressing myself.
Boy, have we taken it for granted that Merle Miyako was our chairman. We are so lucky.
It was good that we had Merle, because she's Miyako. She's always very outspoken, and she's really to the point. If something isn't going to work, or she knows right away, so she knows how to stop everything very fast.
When I joined, even back in 2002, there was never, you weren't really talked down to. It was all about how to be the best you can be. So that's also really nice, is to have a lot of people, a lot of men in the group who were extremely supportive and just gave you all the reasons why you could do it and not any reason why you can't do it. So that there's also something to be said there about the culture in Soh Daiko.
From having Mieko as the chairperson, Tamiko now as the chairperson, I think it really shows what our group's values are and attracts the right kind of people.
From the public point of view, I think it still remains surprising for audiences to see, as many women in taiko as there are. And I think it's a great thing, particularly for the women in the audience. I think that, they always get, something really positive out of the representation.
When I joined the Soh Daiko, I really didn't have much purpose. I just joined because I just wanted to simply play taiko. But then once I start performing, and I realized, especially when women play nice solo, and then you really get loud cheers from the audience, and I really feel the support. And also after the performance, audience come to you and then, wow, that was so powerful. And then you get also like a positive feedback from the audience. Then you start realizing, wow, we're giving so much power to, audience, especially women. And then actually that empowers me to be a better person too.
When I started out in taiko, there were, PJ Hirabayashi was one of the performing stars, and obviously leaders as well, but she was one of the performing stars of North American taiko. Chizuko Endo with Kenny, and also women, in leadership positions with groups like Fei Komagata. Yeah, so in the early days, there were women, that for us women to keep in, our minds going, yeah, there is, look at this, there's representation here that's far more, female than you generally see in other fields.
Right.
Yeah, in Faye Komagata's group, she was like the main, leader and performer for all the early years. And then as she got older, then younger people started taking over. And Chizuko, of course, was basically the leader. So she and support group for Kenny as he went off doing professional jobs. But he ran the school, and when we went to performances, she was like the main performer.
It's just so inspiring to see the three of you be leaders in all these different areas of the group, whether it's the music, literally leading the group, dance, performance, just seeing that, women can be in all of these different positions and multiple of them individually it's very inspiring. So thank you.
And your commitment is above and beyond. Definitely wouldn't have been a Soh Daiko 40th anniversary without you guys.
Hope everyone stays safe, and thank you so much, Miyako, Jenny, and Teddy, for sharing time with us. And we talked about other taiko professionals or artists being, kind of influencers or an inspiration to you. And as Juliana mentioned, you're really an inspiration to all of us on the call. So thank you for everything, and hopefully we can have more discussions like this as well.
Oh.
Bye.
Hey.
Bye. Somebody leave. Come on.
I know. I have to look for the leave button.